Welcome to the Just Jim radio show today. Thank you for joining me. We're here on this radio show to help make a difference. Well, what does that mean, Jim? Well, Just Jim is a version of who I am that has evolved over the last year and a half, 2 years. I've, for over 35 years, helped people on their life journey, finding their truth, finding their purpose, finding their inspiration, finding their connection within, above. I've done this in so many different ways, a wellness center, inspiration center for a dozen years, and for quite a few years at Sarasota Center of Light, and now the past 4 years with Sarasota Center of Light as their pastor, as Reverend Jim. And I have this role that I play in a metaphysical organization, in a spiritual organization. And yet, for me, it isn't just practical spirituality, it's spiritual practicality. It's making a difference for people to be able to take whatever it is I might share into their lives, directly into their lives, their family, their friendships, their work. So here at the Just Jim radio show, we're offering inspiration, information, encouragement, some fun for sure. It's no good if you don't throw some fun in there. So we're getting together during these shows to be able to talk about, have interviews about, questions and answers about life and different aspects of it. And I would say from an inner point of view, from a place of getting in touch with you and your relationship to the world around you. So as we're making our way through this, know that what I do share is meant to be as universal as possible for each and all to be able to experience what works for you, what fits for you, how it might help you. Today we're going to talk about something that might be something that a lot of you would just really enjoy listening to. Some it might stretch you a bit. Some it might be something you're comfortable with and work with every day. But today we're going to talk about accessing inspiration and intuition. And those are two different things. And one actually leads to another to a certain degree. And so we're going to look at how we can access the inspiration and the intuition that can help us deal with what's going on within us, within our family dynamic, within our world, our life, our workplace. Again, back to spiritual practicality or practical spirituality. We're bringing the spirit that we are of life, the expression of who we are, no matter how we see that, into our world. So, what is inspiration? Well, it depends on who's looking at it. For some, it could be connecting to and feeling the guidance that moves into and through them. For some, it could be something that occurs that gets their attention and stirs them in a positive, uplifting manner. Some would define inspiration as spirit moving in, through. Inspiration is your consciousness being aware and awakened to what fits and feels right to you, what sort of wakes you up to a different level of clarity, of knowing. And gosh, during this period of time where we're coming through this process of this event based on this virus and where it first took us and where we ended up, and we're beginning to evolve through and hopefully out of, depending on how we choose to respond to it. There's such an opportunity for us to all get inspired, find the guidance, find the direction, the awareness that we're looking for, to better be in touch, to make the right decisions, to sometimes have to deal with those of you who might be dealing with symptoms or health crises or financial crises or personal crises, might be really lonely or afraid or lost, or now having to find your way out of that, making the decisions that are going to be for your highest and best, for your fulfillment, not only of like a purposeful part of you, but as your life. So it's looking within and getting in touch with, connecting to that natural flow that you use to guide you, to direct you, to the reason why you choose to be who you are. And inspiration, as you are in touch with it in whatever way works for you, and we'll talk about how we can do that, but as you're in touch with your inspiration, and right now that could be a great deal of what's missing for so many. We get into our routines and our habits, and we're walking through our days kind of unconsciously, just doing the same thing over and over again. Even those of us who say we are aware and present and paying attention, we can still get into a routine that works, and yet we could be or become even more than that if we were to bring a different level of inspiration into it. Awaken a little passion, a little purpose, a little direction. And as we allow our inspiration to elevate or expand or become bigger within us, and we practice being inspired, that's what we embody and becomes our intuition. When we're looking for inspiration or experiencing inspiration, or it's moving through us and inspiring us, as we are more inspired, that level of awareness, that level of illumination, that level of expansion within our consciousness, within our being, within who we are, creates this resonance within us, this experience of us. And as we embody and anchor inspiration within us, it becomes our intuition. It becomes something we turn to as our inner knowing, our inner truth, to guide us. And so inspiration comes to us and through us, and intuition becomes part of who we are as we embody that inspiration. You can keep it simple and call it your gut. Frequently, your gut is based on your mind and its beliefs and its history and its understandings, its evidence that it's established up till now. But inspiration and intuition is what's taking you forward, not a reminder of what it's been. And it opens doorways to allow you to be able to experience yourself differently, to make changes in your life, to bring healing, balance, harmony to your body, to your emotions, to your mind. You see, like inspiration being a light, brilliant and beautiful, that sort of has you see, think, feel, choose, and act differently than you have before. It helps you see within you your truth. Your inner knowing, really, like what is real to me, what is right to me, what is true to me. That's that knowing. It's like as you're looking at something or trying to decide how to be right now or what to do or how to move forward, what you're going to bring to the world as we evolve out of this process together. That becomes what you know, your inner knowing, to be true, and becomes your truth. Kind of like accessing inspiration, becoming your intuition. As you practice paying attention consciously within, you have this inner knowing. that you know is true for you. And as you know more and more from that place of inspiration and intuition, it becomes your truth. So we can use inspiration to deepen and elevate our intuition. We can use our intuition to pay more attention to what we know is true within us. And as we pay attention to what we know is true within us, we establish our truth differently. Inspiration, intuition, knowing, truth. And as we anchor that, that's a new place within the core of our being we can come from. Sort of an inside out kind of thing, bringing inspiration and intuition into our knowing, our truth, and becoming it becomes what we express and experience moving forward. Right now, gosh, we all know that's what we need a lot of. Do we want to go back out there in the world? Do we want to go out and be what we've been and become what we've been before? Or do we want it to be different for ourselves, for each other, for our cities, our countries, our world? I say, let's stop, look, and listen. For those of you who have listened to me before, you'll know I've said that. Stop, look, and listen. Dating myself refers to railroad crossings when there used to be a lot of them and no bars and lights coming down. Just look both ways, stop, look both ways, and listen for the whistle. This is stopping, looking within, and listening to the whispers of your heart, the desires of your soul, the longings of your being. This is where you'll find your knowing. This is where you'll find your inspiration. This is where you'll establish your intuition and your truth. And the more that you are able to do that, the more that we are able to spend that time getting to know ourselves at a deeper and more elevated and expanded level, the more we bring our inspiration, our spirit into our lives, it changes the way we think, feel, and act. It changes the decisions that we make, not necessarily in a completely different direction, but it brings more clarity, more focus, more freedom, because we're not then being directed by the habits or patterns or circumstances or situations we have established. We're trusting in the natural flow of who we are and being more a part of that, more a part of our ability to respond to our life and to the world. And we each have a song to sing, so to speak, or a story to tell, painting to paint, a dance to dance. Pick your way of expressing that fits for you. We all have something to bring to ourselves, to those who we care about, our family, our friendships, to our community, to our country, to our world. Not from a place of another task to accomplish, but because we're hearing our own song more clearly, or we're seeing the colors that we want to paint on the canvas differently, or we're being moved by our inspiration, by our passion, and we're dancing differently than we have before. Dance like nobody's watching. And, you know, it sounds simple. Stop, look, and listen. Well, I mean, there's obviously techniques for doing that, and they're different for everybody.